every person needs to do one or two things, or the two things, either build a personal brand and network. I mean, networking has been opening so much door for me. Like, well, I started the company back when I was living in Argentina, and now I'm living here in the United States, like 2 years after I officially started, like legally the company, because I was just doing personal brand. But then when I created the LLC, I mean, it took me a year and a half to actually move and get everything. But I was able to do that because of all the connections and the networking that I was doing.
How did you get started in that? Why video?
It was, I'm an assistant engineer, so I was pretty much in systems and software, but there was something that I always wanted to learn. I wanted to learn video games. That's something that's not a career there, so I'm not sure if right now exists, but at the moment it didn't exist. Similar thing that I could find was creating animations. So I was doing animations, but mostly as a hobby. I wasn't actually selling those. I met Grant Cardone on Instagram, so I really liked what the guy was saying. So I signed up for one of the free webinars, and he was telling about advertise, sell, promote. So I was like, okay, maybe I can sell animations. So I started my company back in 2020, and I was just selling animations and motion graphics. But I quickly realized that although I was selling animations between $200 and $800 per piece, I saw something like when the owner posted that video, although it looked like really cool, like really high end, the video got like 50 views. So I saw that, okay, I can get maybe one sale, maybe two, but after that, he's not going to see the return of investment. So I need to pivot. I need to do something else. And the business was always changing and evolving.
What's the difference between a 500 view video and a million view video? What's the difference?
If the structure is correct, the difference is probably be around the first 3 seconds. It's probably the hook.
First 3 seconds?
Probably. Most of the time it's in the first 3 seconds. However, I'm testing one video right now on one of my accounts. There was an interview with it. Do you remember Fabio, the guy from
the jet guy?
The jet guy. Yeah. So I was testing one of the
videos together. You were my video crew.
Yeah. So I did one question. The video did like about 5,000 views. I actually did it on trial reels. And I'm noticing that we are losing people whenever he's talking about uncertainty. So there's one thing that I call editing for retention. It's not my invention. I actually learned it from Ryan McGinn, who's been the creator behind, big people, Grant Cardone, for example.
Ryan McGinn. Okay, yeah.
Ryan McGinn, yeah. So editing for retention pretty much say that you need to get rid of words of uncertainty. So every time you say probably, every time you said maybe, I mean, it's like you're not sure what you're saying. So you just get rid of that and just go directly with just one answer that gives you, let's say, authority, and then you have to own that answer.
So you're saying that don't use filler words, maybe this, that. You need to be just punching your point of opinion.
Yeah, I mean, get rid of it if you can. I don't remember the question. It was something about, because I heard that some people were saying that they'd rather fly business instead of a private jet because they feel less turbulence.
Turbulence.
Yeah. So Fabio was answering like, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think we all the jets have. So there was uncertainty in that. So I believe that if I get rid of all of that and then I go straight with the answer he gave me, I think the video will do a lot better.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's one of the testing I'm going to do this week.
I want to show you something. So can you see my screen?
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, so there's two videos that you cut these two videos for me when I was with Steve Varsano of the Jet Business. Yeah. And I just want to show you, like, this video did 11,000 views and you did a variation. So the same kind of video, but a different...
different hook. It was a different hook. And there was also like a different visual hook.
It goes... Got it. The visual hook is different. So the guy in the suit and the guy in the plane here. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so the difference is enormous. So it's like, it's more than 10x. It's like 15x almost. 11,000 views versus 159,000 views. Incredible.
And I think there's one other video, because I remember, I think we did one that did 2 million from that same batch. Yeah. So the one with 149, that performed really well. But there's another one. There's probably around that list that you got there. And it's much the same. Do you have a jet? It was a variation from that one.
Okay, so was this. So, I mean, my question is, how do you know what's going to work or not?
Uh, I mean, I wish I had, the magic answer. Actually, I don't. You just need to go to analytics and try to understand where you losing people. And all the platform has this built in. I mean, you can go to YouTube, go to analytics, and try to understand. You can see the charts, right? Sometimes it go like this, and then it plumps.
Right.
So you need to understand why it plumps. You just click there. It will tell you exactly what was the second where you start losing people.
I got it.
And trying to figure out, like, most of the time it's a word of uncertainty, or maybe just the content started to get bored. There's something I said that there's no such thing as a video being too long or too short. It's only too boring.
Too boring.
Yeah.
So if it's interesting enough, you can make it as long as possible.
You can make, yeah. Like, I mean, you can see Mr. Beast videos. Like, his average is about 18 minutes. Well, of course, Mr. Beast is in another category of creator, right? But
so you actually, this is interesting. You experimented. I gave you my Wake Up Mentor YouTube account. It was nothing on there at all, and you grew it in 1 month from where to where? Do you remember?
I think you got like 7 subscribers, and then we went in 1 month to almost 3,000 subscribers. And we did, I think it did like 4 million views, but we didn't do that through the whole year. I mean, I think we did that in about 2 or 3 months. And
yeah, I think it was 2 months.
You're still cashing in on those videos. You're still getting views from those videos. That was
that's it. It's still, and the thing about YouTube is that it's like this. It's owned by Google, so it's like a search engine, right? People search on YouTube for questions. But so, what's the difference for me to understand? And then I want to lead into LinkedIn. What's the difference between posting a video on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook? What's the difference? What's the difference between all these audiences?
I think you need to have omnipresence, which means be on every platform. However, you need to understand that every platform has their own audience and their own, let's say, personality. And say if you're just starting, like, you need to answer this question, like, because most people go directly to create an Instagram account, which is okay. I mean, I think Instagram right now is like a website 20 years ago. People don't go to websites anymore. They go to check your Instagram. If you exist there, and but they show they like it, maybe they go to the website. But anyway, you need to answer the question back. Where does my ideal client is hanging out? Like because most people go to Instagram, but are you sure Instagram is your place? Like those are some questions that you need to answer. And for me, I started on Instagram, and I realized like months, years after, my ideal audience is not on Instagram, it's on YouTube. So I should be optimizing.
Figure that out.
Just analyzing the data. So I should be optimizing for YouTube first, and then I go to the other social media. So I also realized that the same video that perform on YouTube can go to Instagram and perform like almost the same. But the same video that I do for those social media, if I post it on TikTok, it will flop. The editing style, the editing style is a little bit different. So I also understood that on TikTok, every time I show like a fancy animation, I still do a little bit of animations on my video. But every time I show something, I lose all the people. Like I lose 90% of the viewers. So they don't like the animation. They are just waiting for something, I guess, raw and more natural, more real. If I see something like super polished, at least for my content, they will just scroll down. They will think I'm just about to sell something, and they don't want to hear it.
Because that's the thing. When you get true professional, it looks like you're selling something, right? That's what I've seen.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've tried putting TikTok videos, some of my best performing TikToks on LinkedIn. It doesn't perform the same way. And I know why. It's because the business, people are there to do business. In LinkedIn, what I've realized a long time ago is that you always have to bring it back to business. So for example, on Facebook, people posting, a photo of their baby, but they're not interested in that on LinkedIn. And then people say LinkedIn is becoming like Facebook. And I'm talking about videos, But I always say you can post a photo of the baby, but your message needs to be completely different because you're talking to business people. So you want to say, work hard, but don't forget why you're doing it. Something like that would resonate more on LinkedIn than, just here's my new baby. I'm so proud of my family and my wife.
So even how are you juggling, being a dad, and also like running a business or running or doing your job or whatever it is that you're doing. But yeah, you need to connect it back to actually to have some sense.